Are you worried that when this story airs, if you don't find another job, you will be terminated?
Yes.
Claims of discrimination and termination at a popular child care center in Central Ohio. Child care worker Rain Sprout claims he did not feel safe at the school after he came out as transgender.
His former supervisors called ABC 6 on Your Side problem solver Lisa Rontala back in December after they say they were ordered to not call Rain by his preferred pronouns. And Lisa, would that an order like that, such an order, be legal?
Well, Bob, that's something that the courts may soon figure out, as Ohio does not include LGBTQ plus individuals in its current anti-discrimination laws. Now, these former directors and Rain himself say they were either discriminated against or told to discriminate against a transgender employee. We will be limited on the information we release from their official complaints with the state and federal governments because those investigations are pending. In libraries across Columbus, children's stories of inclusion with young animated characters saying they feel uncomfortable being called he or she. But in the same Central Ohio region,
I have kind of always felt different.
The story of someone else.
Baby, don't worry.
Someone drawn to children.
About a thing.
What draws you to childcare?
I've always loved children.
Who says his story doesn't include this kind of acceptance. Are you worried that when this story airs, if you don't find another job, you will be terminated?
Yes.
Rain Sprout was born Jasmine Deming, a girl. But he says he always knew he was a boy. At work, Rain tells me he's always kept his gender identity private.
The world isn't the safest place for trans people out there.
That is,
My name is Rain, and this is my voice one day on testosterone.
until he started taking hormones last fall.
And this is my voice 2 months on testosterone.
He was hired as Jasmine at a popular private early child care center in October. The school sits in a city that states it rejects discrimination of any kind, including that based on sex, gender identity and expression, and sexual orientation.
Other people are going to see starting a facial hair or a deepening voice or my body mass, like the way that my fat is distributed is going to be different, so I'm going to become more of a square and less of an hourglass.
So in December, Rain approached co-directors Lauren Diaz and Jessica Pache, his supervisors.
You know, he was doing a great job in the classroom. There was no issue with his work performance.
That's when Jasmine asked them to call him Rain and use pronouns he, him, and his. However, they say the owner of the school has the final say, and that's where Lauren and Jessica say this story takes a drastic turn. Were you at all fearful of your own jobs?
No.
Not at that time at all.
No.
Lauren, Jessica, and Rain all filed charges with the Ohio Civil Rights Commission. The OCRC tells me the agency received these complaints and transferred all three to the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. The accusations state the owner refused to recognize gender transition and instructed staff to do the same. ABC 6 on Your Side is not naming the school or owner listed in these documents because no lawsuit has been filed. The investigations could also take up to a year to complete.
I had an anxiety attack, so I had to go home because it was just very shocking.
Lauren wrote in her charge of discrimination, the owner directed me to refer to a transgender employee in a manner that would misgender the individual.
I just find it to be so disrespectful, and I consider myself to be an ally of, the LGBTQ community.
Jessica states, I refer to them as Rain on the schedule December 20th and was told either change the schedule or I could leave the school. In Rain's charge with the OCRC, he states the owner created a hostile work environment when that owner discharged the individuals who complied with my request and were trying to protect me from discrimination. He also writes the owner also sent in another employee to the classroom to scrutinize me. Were you intimidated?
Very. I was shaking.
The night of December 20th, Jessica and Lauren said they both received letters stating you are being terminated for insubordination.
Was this a violation of your civil rights?
I believe this is retaliation. You can't order somebody to act in a way that is discriminatory.
Of course, I tried to contact the business listed in these discrimination complaints. I tried to call the business on December 23rd. No one called me back. I then went to the property in person in January. The owner asked me to leave her property. And then this month in February, I've tried to call the corporate office several times. Again, no response. Can a transgender employee demand to be referred to by the preferred pronouns as opposed to birth pronouns? Is that their right?
So it's a direct question, but it just simply doesn't have a direct answer.
Raphael Davis Williams with the American Civil Liberties Union of Ohio says the Buckeye State is one of many that does not include sexual orientation or gender identity specifically in its anti-discrimination laws. And that could leave someone like Rain or allies Lauren and Jessica with fewer protections.
What we are saying to them is that you are not allowed to participate in the society that we have set up without having to be bullied.
ACLU Ohio has supported the Ohio Fairness Act for the last 20 years, which has yet to be voted out of committee. The bill would make discrimination against LGBTQ individuals illegal at work, at school, and in housing.
I'm a sitting senator in the state of Ohio. I still can be denied housing. I can be told when I take my family out to eat to leave a restaurant because my children have two moms.
The bill was introduced for the 10th time last spring. Last session in the Ohio House Civil Justice Committee, more than a dozen testified to say they oppose sexual orientation or gender identity to be listed in the Ohio Revised Code.
Does this open the door to potentially legalize pedophilia in the future?
The Bible alone is our authority for all behavior.
And this is frankly tyranny.
That was the law firm.
But Davis Williams says this doesn't mean LGBTQ individuals or their allies have no rights at all. In Ohio, discrimination claims of this nature have fallen under sex discrimination, but is then left to the interpretation of the judge if it fits criteria. There's also discharge in violation of public policy. That means a termination in Ohio cannot jeopardize the belief of a particular community. And in 2020, the U.S. Supreme Court did include terms of sexual orientation and gender identity in federal anti-discrimination laws. However, at least 50 employees must work at the company in question for federal law to apply.
No one goes to jail or loses their freedom.
Davis Williams says any employer found guilty of discrimination against an employee would have to pay. And he's seen punitive damages in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It has the potential to cripple a business.
Sure, it does.
At this point, Lauren and Jessica tell me they have retained a lawyer. Rain has since resigned from his teaching job and found another position, but still plans to sue. He tells me he wants to create better stories for those who also feel different. He knows of the high suicide rates in the LGBTQ community, which is displayed on his own social media page in real life.
Was that damaging?
Yeah, it hurt my feelings. It made me feel like a place where I felt safe was no longer safe for me. And not feeling safe in your workplace is a horrible feeling.
So just within the last hour, we received a statement from the school's corporate office. It says we promote equal employment opportunities and anti-discrimination policies that contribute to a workplace free from harassment, discrimination, and retaliation. We are committed to creating safe, nurturing environments across our classrooms, workplaces, and communities. However, the attorney now representing those two former school directors tell me the school owner refused to go into mediation with the OCRC after official complaints were filed. So do you have a problem you need solved? Call me at 614-255-NEWS. On your side, I'm problem solver Lisa Rontola.